Very excited to talk to Dustin Poirier, who's kind enough to be joining us on the phone, who I think is in the midst of a road trip right now. Is that right, Dustin?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Awesome. Yeah, man, I'm on the road with my family.
Where are we off to? Vacation?
Yeah, I'm right outside of Pensacola, Florida right now. Just got out of Alabama. We're driving to Destin, Florida for 6 days just to get away, decompress, and kind of just relax, you know?
Yeah, well, that is certainly well-deserved. I appreciate you doing this in the midst of that road trip. Dustin, you know, we saw that footage. We saw the way you were feeling. You were so sad. You were so heartbroken. But I'm wondering, even like after that, I remember seeing on social media around 12 hours later, you even alluded to the fact that if I do fight again, we'll have to see what happens. It sounds like a week later, like I was kind of surprised when I heard you say that, if I do fight again. Are you considering not fighting again?
No, I just was, you know, like you just heard in that clip you played, you know, my whole career, and then obviously a 10-week training camp was preparing me for that night, and I felt like I did everything I could to be ready for that fight, and you know, I got beat, and it was just, I was in my feelings, man, and it hurt. So sitting in my hotel room, I said that, but that was just emotional, you know. Of course I'm going to fight again. These guys are going to punch themselves in the face.
You obviously were down afterwards, and you had every right to be. I'm wondering if you have regrets about your performance. Like, are you thinking about it a lot? Are you wishing you did X, Y, and Z differently in that fight?
Of course, man. Like I said, I'm going to question things that happen, you know, for the rest of my life. Listen, before every fight, when I'm in the locker room, I kind of have a second with myself, and I know that in the next 15 minutes, if it's a 3-round fight, or the next 25 minutes, if it's a main event or a title fight, I kind of tell myself that whatever happens in this next 15 or 25 minutes, to stay tough, to stay focused, because that 15 or 25 minutes is going to last the rest of my life, and I understand that every time I step in there. And you know, I had a loss of focus. I had my concentration wasn't right, and I made a mistake. And now for the rest of my life, I have to live with it. That's just what it is. That's how life works sometimes. All the time. Yeah.
When you say a loss of focus and the concentration wasn't right, what are you referring to?
You know, not protecting my neck. Ariel, I've been doing this for a long time, man. I've had the best guys on top of me. You know, of course, Khabib is the best in the world, but getting rear naked choked is something that I'm so much better than allowing that to happen, you know?
Was that the hardest defeat to deal with? I mean, like I said, you always wear your emotions on your sleeve. I remember talking to you after the Korean Zombie fight in Fairfax, Virginia, many moons ago, and you were obviously very upset after that one. But considering the stakes and how you were feeling going into the fight, has this one been the toughest to deal with thus far?
They all hurt, man. It all hurts so much because I put so much into it, man. And this is my craft. This is what I do. And I pride myself on you know, work and my skill set. It hurts. It hurts more than I can explain to you. I don't know if, I'm sure there's somebody out there who does something that they love and that they're passionate about, and they do everything they can to be the best, and they fall short. You know, maybe they have a similar feeling, but I can't explain to you how it feels. It feels horrible. You know, it's as I'm getting older and more mature, it's just a part of my life, fighting it, but at the same time, it's so much to me, man. It's so much to me. So this hurts a lot.
The fact that you suffer so much after these particular fights, does it make you not want to do it as much? Like to go through these emotions? Does that deter you from getting back in there and investing so much of your time and effort and your emotions into these fights? Oh, we may have lost him there. Yeah, I think he's gone. All right, we'll reconnect with Dustin here in a moment in the midst of a road trip, but great stuff as always from him. Apologies for that. Stand by. Always great to hear from Dustin, always very gracious with his time. I was working backstage for Fuel TV for that fight against Korean Zombie around 7.5 years ago, and I remember him coming back. Everyone thought if he won that fight, he'd get a title shot at 145, and he unfortunately didn't win, came back, spoke to us, but was very emotional. It reminded me a lot of that scene at the post-fight press conference on Saturday of last week in Abu Dhabi. I believe we have Dustin back. Dustin, you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
I think you were in the midst of an answer there, but I'll just keep going. I was asking you if, I don't know if you heard the question, if the fact that it hurts so much and you were affected by these losses because you pour so much into it, does it deter you from wanting to start a camp? Like, it's very fresh now. You're not thinking about that, but just the fact that it pains you so much to go through all of this, does it make you not want to fight as much as your early days?
No, man, I'm a sick person. It makes me want to do better, do more, come back stronger, show them another lesson that I've learned, dust myself off again, show you that I can do it, show myself that I can do it. It motivates me, man. It sucks to get on these streaks and get so close to the mountaintop and then get knocked down again. And but I'm familiar with that, man. I promise you I'm going to rise again. I'm going to get my hand raised. I'm going to beat who I have to beat, and I'll be back knocking on that door again. It's just I hate having to dust myself off over and over again, but this is my story, man. This is my past. I don't try to look for an explanation of why this happened. I know I'm one of the best in the world. And when it all does finally come together, it's going to be beautiful, and it's my story, and I understand that. So I'm just going to keep grinding, keep getting better. But at the same time, it's a love-hate relationship. I love this so much that sometimes I hate it. And, it just keeps breaking my heart, but I keep coming back. Like that relationship when you're, like a girlfriend, or that something that just keeps breaking your heart and you just keep coming back to it. I can't stop. I will not stop. I know I have greatness in me, man, and I'm going to show the world. I just have to keep grinding.
Was Khabib tougher than you thought he would be?
No. He was, technically very balanced. His weight distribution, I know I've said it before. A lot of people probably don't understand what I'm saying. But when you've been grappling and spent the amount of hours on the mats with the best guys in the world, you can feel their IQ and their understanding of positions, and he's very good at his awareness positionally, his weight distribution positionally when he's on top. He doesn't use a lot of strength. Honestly, I felt a similar feeling when I rolled with Marcelo Garcia in New York a long time ago. They're letting their body and their body mechanics do a lot of the work. They're not straining and giving up a lot of energy. He's a special individual, but I can beat him. I let myself down that night, and it sucks.
Have you ever grappled with someone who, was consistently putting their hand over your face like he was in that first round? Have you ever dealt with that before?
No, I haven't. In the second Eddie fight, Eddie was doing some weird stuff, like grabbing my face and putting his finger in my ear and pulling my head, trying to get my neck. But no, I haven't.
How do you feel about that? Like, do you feel like that's clean?
As long as the fingers aren't going inside the eyes or inside the mouth or that kind of stuff, I don't see why not. If we can knee each other in the face, why can't we grab each other's face like that?
Right. What about being in Abu Dhabi for that stretch of, did you feel comfortable there? Did you seem like there was that talk of you being in enemy territory, but then you were greeted. I mean, what a great, scene that was when you came off the plane, you're greeted. Did you feel comfortable fighting outdoors? It was super hot, I'm told. What was the experience like?
It was incredible. The best fight trip I've ever had. The people were the best I've ever been around. It was the most welcoming city I've ever fought in. It was amazing. Everything was perfect except my performance. I have no complaints. It wasn't that hot. I know I see a lot of people saying that. I felt good. It felt, maybe because I'm from Louisiana and trained in South Florida, I'm used to the humidity and heat. Of course, it was hotter and more humid than it is there, but maybe because I'm tempered to it a little bit, I didn't notice that. It was a great trip. If I can do anything different, I would be more in the moment for that 25 minutes. I felt like I let my mindset slip away, and in fighting that matters most. I just felt like I wasn't as focused as I needed to be from bell to bell. And also, I would go there a little early. I had a lot of trouble sleeping.
Okay. How much in advance did you go there?
I went there 8 full days, I believe.
Okay. And what do you think would have been better?
I would have done at least two full weeks. You know,
Okay.
there were nights where I was sleeping 3 hours and had media obligations early. A lot of nights I couldn't fall asleep until 4 a.m.
Wow.
But I didn't feel that. I got to sleep in during the fight. I took a nap that day. I was caught up on sleep. That's no excuse, but that's the only thing looking back that I would change. Besides my performance and focus during when it mattered most, I would go a little earlier.
Did you think you rocked him in the beginning of the second round?
I know I touched him and hurt him. I can tell his body language. The punch didn't land flush, but it skimmed him. With the way you're pulling back like that, I feel like receiving a shot, your body's not in good position. You know, you get hurt more easily whenever you're pulling back like that and your body isn't sitting solid. I just couldn't touch him again. He was hurt for sure. I just couldn't touch him again. He's very awkward, Ariel. I couldn't get a rhythm. I couldn't get anything going. He's herky jerky. His up and down movements are strange. It was hard to get a read on him in the stand up. The little bit we did have.
What about in the third round with the guillotine? How close did that feel?
That's another thing I got to live the rest of my life with. Why didn't I go full guard? You know, I think in the back of my head, normally I can finish a guillotine with one hook in. You know, obviously that one leg was stopping him from passing my guard and relieving the pressure of the choke. So that's why I kept that leg over. But why did I have a good guillotine? Why didn't I go full guard and you know, I could have rolled over with him. I would have been in mount when he tried to roll. If I would have went full guard, I probably could have put more pressure. But those are all looking in the rear view. If I could have done a lot of different things, you know, but none of that matters. But it just sucks to think about all that stuff, you know. Try not to beat myself up about all those things.
Great moment afterwards with you guys, you know, swapping shirts and him saying that he was going to donate all the proceeds to your charity after selling the shirt. Were you expecting that from him? And in the moment, like, were you? There's a lot going on in your mind. Like, are you even aware of what's going on in that moment?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I have enough experience where things kind of slow down in there, and I don't get too carried away with adrenaline and stuff. It was great. I had no clue he was going to do that. He raised a lot of money, you know, the biggest donation obviously we've ever had with the foundation, and we're going to do great things with it. He's going to help a lot of people out with his contribution, and it's incredible, man, to see the fighters starting to donate things and just the growth that the foundation has had in the last year and a half is incredible. I'm really grateful. I have a lot of things to be grateful for, and you know, those things make me smile, man. That's sunshine for sure.
Are you able to say how much that shirt went for?
Khabib donated $100,000 to the foundation.
Wow. All from the one shirt?
Yeah, I believe so. I don't know if he auctioned it off or he just had somebody offer him, you know, $100,000 for the shirt. I'm not sure. I haven't had a chance to speak with him personally and thank him. I've only spoke to his manager, but he donated the money. It's in the foundation account, and it happened, man. It's incredible.
And Dana White's matching that, correct?
I don't know. Dana's a man of his word. I expect him to. If he said, which I've seen clips of him saying that he was going to match whatever Khabib donated, but I haven't spoken to him personally. So.
Okay. So as of right now, for this particular fight camp, how much have you raised?
Well, we set the goal of 25,000. I think we overshot that by 7,000 or 8,000. So we raised 32 or 33,000 for the original goal of the well and the water tower for the Pygmy people. But I'm going to hop on a call later on at the end of this week with Justin Wren and his organization, and we're going to talk more about, because he had set an overflow goal of 50K, and that would be able to build a few more water wells in neighboring villages and things like that. So I want to go all out and do everything we can. So we're going to hop on a call later this week and get some more stuff ironed out. And, I mean, we demolished this goal that we had.
Incredible. You emerged early last week with this tweet, kind of moving on from the fight and looking to the future. You said, "I think me and Conor running it back makes a lot of sense at this point," and that exploded. 54,000 likes on Twitter alone. Why do you want that fight next?
Why not? I mean, if we're respecting the rankings here, Ariel, he's number 3. Everybody else is pretty booked up. It makes sense. We both lost to the same guy in a world title fight.
It seems like we lost Dustin again. So we shall reconnect. Yes, he tweeted that on September 10th. So a week tomorrow. I think me and Connor running it back makes a lot of sense at this point. Few minutes later, Connor responded to him. And so I'm curious to hear what he had to say about that. Dustin, to the best of my knowledge, did not respond to Connor. They fought back at UFC 178, which is an eternity ago. UFC 178 off the top of my head was what, 2014, 2015? That was the Demetrius Johnson versus Chris Carriasso card. And so there seems to be a lot of interest in that. Our upcoming guest, Action Bronson, tweeted on Saturday that he would like to see that rematch. Dustin, you there?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Where did I lose you at?
Kind of at the beginning of when I asked you, why do you want that fight?
Because, now I think I'm number 2 in the rankings. He's number 3. If we're respecting the rankings, I think the fight makes sense. Everybody else around us is booked. We both lost to the same guy in a world title fight. Financially, it makes a lot of sense. If the guy, for me, if the guy's not going to fight, they got to take him out of the rankings because he's just going to keep log jamming an already top heavy division. So we got to get it figured out, because before I took off to drive out here with my family, I wasn't trying to put all the pieces together too quick. But I was thinking I want to fight before my birthday, January 19th. I want to have another fight before I'm 31 years old, just as a goal of mine. And we'll see what opportunities and what fights line up at the beginning of January or end of December and take it from there. But I think Connor's a great fight.
Did you see his response to you? And if so, what did you make of it?
Yeah, of course I saw what he said. I'm not going online to bash the guy or, just if it's that easy, just do it again. Again, then try to beat your record. What did you get me in last time? 2 minutes? Try to do a minute 30. Let's see if you can do that.
To the best of your knowledge, does the UFC seem interested in this fight, in this rematch?
I haven't really spoke to anybody. I would think they would be, but man, I'm all ears. I just want a good fight. For me, I want a fight that's exciting, a fight that motivates me. I still have a lot of fights left in me, but at the same time, I don't want to fight just to fight. I want it to be something on the line, whether that's the next title shot or my legacy or just something more than just the fight. I want it to be very motivating for me, and he's a guy that would be motivating to fight.
And one last thing on Connor. Do you feel like you were disrespectful towards him? Because he said you should have spoken my name with a bit more respect in the build-up.
Nah, man, not at all. All I said was I think a rematch makes sense, Listen, I don't speak negative about people. I try my best to find the good in people and stay positive. So I'm not talking trash about people. Even if I dislike you, I'm not going to, I'll tell you to your face. I don't go online and talk trash and do this stuff anymore.
I do have to ask if you don't mind about Colby Covington, because he responded to your comments about him in the post-fight press conference. And I'm wondering, how can Colby Covington go back to ATT now with, there's an issue there with you. There's an issue with Masvidal. Won't that be uncomfortable if you see him at the gym? Masvidal sees him at the gym. I don't recall in my time covering the sport a teammate being discussed or talking about other teammates or teammates talking about, it just seems like a situation that will not work out well for anyone. How do you feel about him being at the gym if you're there the next time?
I'll show you. You'll read about it. I'll actually be there. I'm not in Florida right now. That part of Florida. I'm in Louisiana and driving to the Panhandle of Florida right now. But I'll be back at American Top Team around October 10th. I'm gonna go out there, train a few days, and then drive up to Tampa for the event. So Ariel, you're bringing me back to the negative side right now, man.
I'm sorry.
You're pulling me back to the dark side, but I'll be there the 10th through the 12th. So if Colby wants to go to the gym any one of those days, I got something for him.
I'm just curious, was there an issue with you guys in the past, or did you just not like the character that he's become now?
Man, I really don't want to sit here and talk negative about anybody.
Okay.
If I see him in person, you'll read about it.
Okay. Fair enough. One last thing. Did you watch the Cerrone Gaethje fight this weekend?
I did, man. Gaethje's looking good, man. He's really putting guys away, and Cowboy's a tough guy to put away.
A very impressive performance. You guys are. I mean, you have a history with Justin, of course. Not that long ago, you fought him and looked very good against him. So it seems like there's some jockeying for position there. You said that your birthday's in January. Does that December 14th card seem to be the best spot for you? Is that the one that you like best?
I'd like to fight at the beginning of the year if they have something first 2 weeks of January. But we'll see. If something makes sense, of course.
Okay. I appreciate you doing this, Dustin. Thank you very much. And congratulations on a phenomenal performance. And it's just amazing to see. You know, I've talked to DC about this. I've talked to Ben about this as well. It's amazing to see in this sport, more so than any other sport, when someone suffers a loss, a heartbreaking loss, but they just show some emotion and you kind of feel for them and the journey and you get invested, you become even more popular. It's a weird thing. Like sometimes you even become more popular in a loss than you would in a win. And I feel like that's what's happening to you now, just like looking at social media. Have you noticed that as well? Like now just seeing like I think you're over 1 million Instagram followers, all this stuff. People don't really seem to care as long as you put yourself out there, you wear your emotion on your sleeve, and it seems like this means a lot to you. And I feel like that phenomenon is happening to you right now. I'm wondering if you noticed that.
Yeah, 100%. This last fight, I've noticed it more than ever in my career, with the messages, the emails, just people reaching out and showing support. And like I said, I'm going to show you again. You know, my wife was telling me she doesn't think I realize how many people are watching and that I motivate. And that's not my goal. You know, my goal is to be the best fighter. But if there are people out there watching me struggle and watching me overcome, I'm going to show you an example of that again, because I promise you, I'm going to get my hand raised. I'm going to climb back from this. And that's just, like I said, that's just my journey. That's just the path that I'm on. And I don't know why, but that's just what happens with me. And I want to show you how to overcome stuff.
Well, glad to hear you will continue to fight and that you're in a better place this week than you were last week. Enjoy your time with your family, Dustin, and thank you so much for doing this in the midst of the road trip. I really appreciate it.
No problem, man. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. It's Ariel Helwani. I just came here to thank you for watching our ESPN YouTube channel. It's the best. You know what else is the best? The ESPN app. You can get highlights, analysis, all that stuff and more. And if you want premium content and live streaming sports, there's only one place for all of that. It's ESPN Plus.